Hey everybody, how are y'all doing? Happy Monday. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley. Long time no see. Come on in the room, let me know that you're here. Yeah, we're here to talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County. And isn't really a recap, it's more of an overview, all right? So before we get started, it's not a recap, it's an overview. And guys, I have to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to continue to recap or even watch Orange County. This season has been abysmal. We have lost the plot, as you guys see by my title. I'm just over it. Hey, how are you? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for. Oh, come on, Germany. Yes, come on in. Hey, y'all. Hey, how are you? I'm well. How are you? Again, y'all, come on in the room. Come on in the room. Let me know where you're. Let me know you're here. Guys. Hey, how are you? How are you? How are y'all doing? I hope you guys are well. Happy Monday. Yes, come on in, y'all. Guys, I have to be honest. I don't know about continuing Orange County because this season has been horrible. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Are you loving it? I knew you were over it. We didn't get a live. Yeah, this season is horrible. This season is not hitting. I also have to say, y'all, if I'm being honest, I feel so bad because a lot of y'all were saying, you started watching OC because of me. And here I am saying, guys, OC is one of the best franchises. And a lot of you guys are probably like, girl, where is it? Y'all, I feel so embarrassed. I'm like, OC has let me down tremendously. I have never seen a season this bad. Yeah, this season is horrible. I think I'll be dropping OC. I think this might be my last recap, my last OC recap, if I'm being honest. This is a failing grade. A failing grade. Okay, you're over it too. Happy Monday. I only watched your recaps because it was a boring season because even you are dipping it and doing it. You never stack up. Yeah, I never stack up 3 episodes. Yeah, and this is not even a recap. We're doing an overview discussion about, I want to hear from you guys. It's been a horrible season. The season had so much potential. Yeah, it's an OC set of emergency. It is. It's the same fight over and over again. It really is. Hey, guys. Hey, the live stream was great. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the live stream. Let me say quickly, shout out to everybody at the live show, Kempire After Dark, this past Friday. Shout out to all y'all who came out. We had a great show. I hope y'all had fun. I had the best time. Shout out to everybody who bought a live stream ticket. I hope y'all enjoyed it. My DMs have been flooded. Y'all have been saying, oh my gosh, Brooke, the tea that you spilled was so good. So shout out to y'all. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I had a great time. Yeah, it was a phenomenal night. But and also I want to say thank you to my subscribers. I mean, now mind you, a lot of y'all have come to the shows before. So I've seen a lot of you guys are familiar faces. When I tell you, shout out to my subscriber who came on Friday night and she brought me Melissa sprinkle cookies from New Jersey. Melissa girl, whether or not Jersey is coming back, you did that with those cookies. The cookies are delicious. But thank you. That was so sweet of you. Thank you so much. And then another subscriber gifted me her candle. She's a candle line. Beautiful. But yeah, you guys are so sweet. You said the tea was piping hot. Yup, it sure was. Please keep recapping. We need your perspective. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I have to enjoy the show too. It's not fun if I don't enjoy the show. Because remember, if a show is boring for the recapper, then my energy is going to be low. Like I'm going to be no good. So I don't know. I'm not enjoying it. I wasn't going to give you guys this live. I was going to dive right into Miami. If I'm being honest, I'm only doing it because a few of you all at the live show on Friday kept saying, can you give us one more OC live before you completely dip out? So I'm doing this for you. But yeah, I think that OC is going to be done. Maybe I'll tip my toe back in for the reunion. But right now, this is the last OOC recap. I'm going to be focused on SLC, the rest of Miami, Potomac, but OC is out the picture for right now. Yes, honey. So where's Lavette? Lavette, are you in here? Because we gonna be going around and around the mulberry bush today. Don't watch OC. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, honey, I had to get it touched up, honey. I had to get it redone for the show. Thank you. Okay, so you watched the live stream of Kempire show. It was a good show. Thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed. Thank you. Yeah, OC fell really short. Worse than the New York reboot. This is my last time watching OC. We have been agreeing with Gina this season. We can't get any lower. I'm screaming, honey. You know it's bad. Now, let me say this. Guys, listen. I really believe that these women are scrambling now because they see the backlash from the viewers. The fact that Tamra is now friends with Katie again. Shannon has now refollowed Katie on Instagram. It's giving our plan fell short and we weren't expecting the backlash. So let's get on the good foot and let's be friends with her again. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think that it's something to be said about them all trying to be cool with Katie again. Girl, you tried the Cutwater. You tried the Cutwater for this time, first time this weekend. They are strong. I told you, those are really strong. Which one did you have? Did you have the margarita one? Gonna pop in while on the train. Okay, hey, wait a second. Isn't it your birthday today? Am I mixing up? Is it you? It's your birthday, right? If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. Hi, Brooke. Nice to catch your live. I stopped watching OC. Yes, listen, honey, I understand. OC is not hitting at all. I caught the live stream of Kempire. Great show. You were fabulous. Thank you so much. It's so wrong how they're doing Katie. It really is. I have no interest. I have no interest in watching it. Everybody's lying about something and it's not entertaining. Yeah, I know. Emily had refollowed her too. They are such pick-me's. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, y'all. That's what they're saying. That's what I'm saying. They're all scared about the fan backlash. I saw one of you guys saying that you hope that Katie is invited to the reunion. If Katie's not at the reunion, then they can kiss it goodbye. I won't be watching. If Katie is not at that reunion, I will not be watching. So they better bring Katie to this reunion. Because I'm telling you right now, the ratings will sink even lower if Katie is not front and center. The women they tried to replace her with didn't get any airtime. Who are they trying to replace her with? Ciao. Between Heather's stage paparazzi to Tamara's fatty pick, I'm over it. The women, they did not think that this was going to blow up in their face. Well, yeah, it was I spilled it at Kempire's live show. I spilled it. I mean, I'm going to have to talk about it when Potomac comes back. But yes, I spilled the tea at the live show. I had some of the Paloma Cutwaters yesterday for my 30th birthday. Oh, happy belated birthday. And yeah, those are strong. You had the Paloma. Okay. All right. What else would they talk about? Yeah, Katie said on Instagram that she's going. But why wouldn't she be invited? She was part of the cast. Oh, I agree. Katie says she's going. Okay, good. Perfect. Katie should give Emily and Gina her ass to kiss. I agree. I agree. If Katie is not there, then there is no need for a reunion, just like Atlanta fell flat when Britt Edie did not show up. I need Katie to come to this reunion loaded, locked in and loaded. I agree. Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I love it. Enjoy your day. I hope you're having the most amazing day today. Hey, Devonta Franklin, thank you for the super chat. Gretchen is lying because she does not want to be sued by Tamra. The most annoying part is Tamra set all of this up. Yeah, I know. Listen, this is a mess. Now, let me just say this, right? Let me read this one comment. Katie can't be trusted either. Never forget how she lied on that black man about following her, and now she's trying to insinuate Gina might be racist with her Asian comment. I got my eye on Katie. Listen, y'all, by no means am I saying that Katie is innocent. Katie's a liar. Katie has shown us weirdo behaviors. I've been saying that, right? But in this case, they are all lying. In this case, Gretchen is lying. Gretchen said at her own mouth in that car in New Orleans, she told Tamra and Shannon that after after the night of Naked Wasted, she felt so sick she went to the hospital. Now she's saying I never said that. Gretchen is a bold-faced liar. My issue is they are all lying. From Katie to Gretchen to Gina to Emily to Tamra, they are all lying. Heather's lying too, saying that she's not afraid of Tamra when she's clearly afraid of Miss Tamra Judge. They're all liars. I have been rooting for Gretchen's return for years, but after this season, she can stay way over there. She was an utter flop. I agree. Yeah, everybody's lying. The entire cast is lying. Yeah, Gretchen went out so sad. I agree. Yes, happiest of birthdays. Happiest of birthdays. I don't respect when these women treat other women horribly and don't stand in what they said and want to switch sides only because they're being dragged. It's not like they've changed. I agree. Now, I do want to touch on episode 8, right? Episode 8 is where we have Emily's Persian New Year party. She has all the women over. She has the people at the lie detector with the lie detector test. They're there. The women all come over. Now, when Tamra walked in through the door, the way Gina and Emily folded immediately, I lost all respect. Not that I ever did care for Gina or Emily. Y'all know how I feel about them. But the fact that they were talking all this stuff about Tamra, the minute she comes in through the door, they're saying, oh, girl, we're so sorry. How are you feeling? My feelings were just hurt, but I still love you. The way they folded the minute Tamra walked through that door, I said, y'all are pathetic. That woman cursed y'all out, told y'all all F you, gave y'all her ass to kiss. Gina, she damn near ruined your trip. So for you to just fold like that and give her a big hug and say, I just missed you, Tamra. Just talk to us next time. Absolutely not. And I'm sorry, Emily, but the fact that you even allowed Tamra in your home after all that, no, ma'am. And wait, one more thing. What was that whole thing about Emily egging the front of her house before the party? It's just like Emily can't help herself. She always has to be a weirdo in some shape, way, or form. Why are you going to egg your own house like that? Are you okay? Like, it's just so stupid. She's just like, I don't think Emily is quirky. I don't think she's funny. She's just very weird, very goofy, very lame, a try-hard. Because again, what was that all about? It was just so bizarre. It was so weird. Yeah, they're all scared of her. No, she gets on my nerves so bad. Like, again, why are you egging your house? Hey, thank you so much. I'm so sick of all of them. Same here. Pick me desperado behavior. Yes, they crumble like a cookie so fast. They did. I was just so surprised. Tamra walked in the door and Emily and Gina both folded. And I have to say, I was with Shannon on that when she said, really? Y'all are now hugging her and all buddy with her. Are you like what? Like, what's that all about? It was just so weird. So now everybody's there. Mind you, it's really awkward at Emily's party. Now, Emily, I'll never see it for you, but I will give you your props. You did have a nice spread for your Persian New Year party. The spread was spreading. I said, all right, girl, I'll give you 5 points for that. Now, we hear from Emily that the alcohol isn't there yet. She says that there's no alcohol right now. We find out later that she hid the alcohol because since they're taking the lie detector test, she wants their answers. She wants their sober answers, right? So she does have alcohol, but she's saying that she doesn't have alcohol. Now, I already knew that was a lie because we know that Emily and this group love to have a good drink. So I wasn't buying that there was no alcohol for the party. But anyhow, we see that it's time for them to get strapped up to the whole lie detector test. They're all writing down questions for each other. And I'm not going to hold you, but I don't know how I would feel if I go to your house and I'm forced to take a lie detector test. I would walk right out. Like, I don't know if that maybe let me know if that's just me, but I would like who are you to sit up here and try to grill me when everybody in this group is lying and now you're going to force everybody to take a lie detector test? Like, I don't know. I didn't feel that. I didn't like that. It was a setup. Emily's very odd. She's not funny and uninteresting. Oh my God. We share the same thoughts. I feel this. I've always felt that way about her. Always. I wouldn't have stayed either. Yes, it's very weird. It felt like racial appropriation, a Persian New Year party, but Shane nor his family was there. Well, she gave the excuse that because Shane's father, her father-in-law is in the hospital, her mother-in-law canceled the annual Persian New Year party. So she said that I'm keeping up tradition, but I do agree she should have had Shane's family there as well, not just the women. So technically, she didn't really keep up tradition because his family wasn't there. No, it was out of line. I would have given Emily my ass to kiss. Yeah, I would never do no lie detector test. I would also walk out. It was a setup to push Katie out. Right. The lie detector test was bizarre. I wouldn't do it. Yeah. I think Katie was the only one that didn't know coming there. Oh, absolutely. You could tell they all knew because everybody was so unusually calm about the test, and Katie was the only one who was shell shocked. And then I also felt bad. It was a horrible look for Katie when Katie was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I have to use the bathroom. And we hear her throwing up. I was just like, Katie, if I were you, I would have walked right out because now you're giving them the impression that you are guilty. Because they were looking at you in the bathroom like, oh yeah, Katie's in the bathroom throwing up sick. Why do you think that is? Because she's nervous. And then you have Gina, oh, that's what somebody who's guilty would do that. It's just like, oh my gosh, like I felt really bad for Katie. Again, I know that Katie is a liar, but they're all liars too. And Gretchen did say it, period. It was an ambush. I agree. I've come to the conclusion that a lot of these women on Housewives are mentally unstable and fame doesn't help. It enables their behavior. Oh, absolutely. Katie's podcast with Nick Viall gave a lot of insight. She was set up and Gretchen and Slade created that lie to throw her under the bus. Oh, I believe it. The way that Slade and Gretchen are trying to backpedal now, I absolutely believe it. I would have walked my happy ass out. Same here. Yeah, she didn't stand a chance. She did not stand a chance. They would not believe her either way. Exactly. When people are committed to misunderstanding you, it doesn't matter what you do or say. Katie dressed. Yep, Katie dressed. Yeah, she always looks good. Katie's a bad housewife because she can never stand up for herself. She should have told them all to shove that lie detector where the sun doesn't shine. I agree. Oh, absolutely. It was orchestrated to make Katie look bad. So sad. I just wish somebody would get on this show who can read. Same here. The whole thing was so unkind, no matter how you feel about Katie. I agree. All these housewives lie. Katie's no more of a bigger liar than any of them. Oh, absolutely. That's why I feel like the audacity of any of y'all to sit up here and play these games. So now they're all, being asked questions. Now it's time to get the results. So they go one by one. They start off with, who do they start off with? They saved Katie for last, which really pissed me off because you could tell again that it was a big setup. So let me check back to my notes. They start off with, I want to say, was it Jenn? Hold on, y'all. They start off with Emily first. They ask her, do you think that you're a better lawyer than Shane? She says, absolutely. The polygraph examiner says, yep, you passed. You answered that correctly. Then the next question was, do you talk badly about Heather in front of your kids? Emily is still lying. Emily says, no. The examiner says, well, you actually failed on that one. It came back that was a lie. Emily says that that's BS. Now, may I say one thing? Did y'all notice how they all excuse each other, but when Katie failed the test later on, they don't excuse her? So, Heather, you still want to hold on to this lie that Emily does not talk about you in front of her kids? Y'all know how I feel about that whole thing. Emily is a bold-faced liar. She knows good and well. Emily cried for 40 days and 40 nights about that oversized blazer and Heather giving her a size 12 or a size 14 jean, talking about she's a size 8 or whatever she was saying. That was a storyline for 7 episodes last year. If you believe in your brain that Emily was not talking badly about Heather, then I have some beachfront property in Iowa to sell you. Y'all know good and well. We talked about this. We know nobody's stupid. You know that when somebody pisses you off, when you're home, when you are safe in your four walls, you are saying stuff. And if you have kids, all my parents have let me know that they've said stuff in front of their kids. They told their kids, be quiet. I know when I was little, you would hear stuff and your parents said, this stays in this house. You don't say a word. When you see Aunt so-and-so, you still smile at her, still give her a hug. But right now I'm pissed off at her. Let's not act like we don't talk about folks when we're angry, because we do. If you think for a minute that Emily was not talking badly about Heather in front of her kids, then you're just as dense as she's trying to pretend to be. Because we know that Emily was talking bad about Heather in her house and her kids heard it. Just own it. And the fact that you have Emily saying, oh no, that's BS, because I didn't do that. You have Heather saying, well, it's okay, girl. I don't believe it anyway. So you believe that Emily's telling the truth, even though she lied she failed the test on that question. But when Katie fails the test, now she's a liar. Got it. I was too done. Beach house in the middle of nowhere. That's what irritates me about Emily, because she gets mad at Heather, but then makes fun of Heather. Exactly. Emily needs to learn to stop saying ish in front of her kids. She's lying, even if it was a slip up. Baby, it happens and he heard it. Just apologize and get over it. Exactly. Just say, girl, I was mad at you. My kids were around when I was talking about you. They heard it. Listen, we see how Tamra talks about the women in front of her daughter, Sophia. We see, what's her name? We see the other one, Shannon, talks about when she's arguing with the girls to her daughters. So you want me to believe that you weren't talking about Heather and your kids didn't hear it? We're not going to play these games, Emily. I said, exactly. Just own it. Just own it. Heather doesn't even like Emily. She only likes her to gang up on Katie. Exactly. Heather talks ish about all of them. She does. And she talks about them to Terry, to her kids. So what are we doing here? Is Heather scared of Emily or something? Because I'm confused. Emily talks too much. She makes me want to call Portia. Listen, honey. Get Portia on the line, honey. Get Monique Samuels, aka Mike Tyson, on the line. So now it's Tamra's turn. Now it's Gina's turn. So now they're asking Gina, they said, oh, Gina, we asked you, did you ever say that you keep Heather around for her connections? You said no. The examiner says you passed that question. Gina says, thank the Lord. So now Heather turns to Gina and she says, oh, by the way, even if it had come out that you had failed that question, I wouldn't have believed it anyway. So when Emily, Gina, Tamara, or Gretchen fails one of the polygraph questions, you'll still believe them. But when Katie failed the polygraph questions, you don't believe her. She's a liar. Got it, Heather. Got it. I was so floored when I was too done when Heather said that. I said, really? I was too done. So now we go to, it's now Tamara's turn. They're reading her the questions that they asked her. Did you contact Slade's ex to dig up information? Tamara says, well, I don't know. I didn't know how to answer this question. She reached out to me. I don't remember. So I just said that, yes, I spoke with her. The polygraph examiner says you passed that question. Gretchen's upset. She says Tamara is trying to cover her ass because she's still trying to prove that she was trying to make Slade look like a deadbeat father. There's so much manipulation behind that woman. So now they read the question, do you want a friendship with Shannon? Tamara says, yes, I do. She did pass that. So now they read the question asking, was she really told that she's on the spectrum? And she said, yes. The examiner says, well, you failed that one. So now you have Tamara acting so fake confused. She's like, oh, well, that's BS. That's BS. I was told that I'm on the spectrum. So I just said, once again, the other ladies are allowed to fail the polygraph questions, but yet when Katie fails the test, now she's a liar. Got it. So now we read Jenn's questions. She passed. She did fail the question about having reservations about marrying Ryan. She says, I'm not surprised because I do have a few worries sometimes. Shannon passed all her questions, so now it's Heather's turn. They say, Heather, we asked you, would you rather be a housewife of Beverly Hills? And she says yes. So now you have Heather getting defensive. She says, I don't know why you guys asked me that. I only said that because I live there. It's closer to where I work and all that stuff. And now you guys are going to think that I'm better than you guys. And they're all like, girl, calm down. It's not that deep. It was a question. Relax. Now, may I say one thing? I don't know what purpose Heather serves anymore when she's no longer in Orange County. They're trying to sell the house in Beverly Hills. They're living in the penthouse in Beverly Hills. I'm just kind of confused as to why she's still on OC then. And if I'm being honest, I think that deep down inside, Heather doesn't really want to be on Beverly Hills. I think that Heather gets off on being the wealthiest one. If she's on Beverly Hills, she's not the wealthiest one on the show. And she's also not a reader. I don't know. I think that Heather likes being at the top of the food chain. And if she's on Beverly Hills, it's a different ball game. The Beverly Hills girls are way more ruthless than OC. So yeah, I don't know if Heather would fare too well in Beverly Hills. I think that she likes OC. She likes where she's at in the group. I don't know how she would do on Beverly Hills, and she knows that too, in my opinion. Heather does not blend well with Beverly Hills. She's boring AF. Yeah, Heather against Erica Jane or Kyle. Yeah, that's how I feel. I just, yeah, they would eat Heather up respectfully. She feels like she runs things in OC. I agree. She doesn't want to be there. Beverly Hills will make her work. Yes, I agree. I agree. But yeah, I just said, Heather, nobody really cares that much about if you want to be on Beverly Hills. Like we really don't care. You barely have a storyline on Orange County. I don't know what your storyline would be in Beverly Hills if you did switch franchises, just saying. So now we go on, they go on to ask her, was it true about her calling the paparazzi to meet her at Disneyland? She says no. The examiner says, well, you failed that question. So Heather says, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't call them, and I already swore on my kids' lives. Heather, whether or not you call the paparazzi or not, we just don't care. On top of that, sis, for it to be a lie, you seem really defensive about that. Like, it's making me think that maybe you did call the paparazzi 2 years ago. But again, nobody cares. That's your business. On top of that, the fact that it's okay for you to say that failing that question is BS, but when Katie failed her questions, now you can't trust her. Like, I don't like that. The fact that if you fail any of the questions, I feel like that should be an automatic side eye for everybody, in my opinion. So it's okay when you fail the questions, but Katie can't. Katie has to pass with flying colors, but you guys can fail some of the questions. Got it. Yeah, I'm sick of hearing about the paparazzi too. It's annoying. And why are we swearing on our kids? Exactly. I think that's a bit much, in my opinion. Girl, you called them by. Exactly. Heather needs to let it go and smoke some of whatever Dr. Terry had at her birthday. Exactly. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She keeps bringing up the $1 million listing guy. She should start a show like that with her son and the younger generation. Kiki as well. There was no need for her to add fuel to the fire by mentioning Gina's microaggression. She showed her thirsty behind. Yeah, the whole Kiki Monique story with, I mean, we're bringing bloggers onto the show now to talk about this. We've lost the plot severely on Orange County. We really have. She called them is not that deep. Exactly. That story. Yeah, the story happened. That happened season 17. That was 2 seasons ago. We don't care. We are halfway through season 19. Why are we still talking about that tired storyline that nobody cares about? It's enough already. Girl, if you hire them, just own it. Yes, that part, because again, the optics are horrendous for the standards to be different for the minority. Exactly. It's a horrible look. So now we have, it's Gretchen's turn. So they asked Gretchen, did she go to the hospital after Naked Wasted? Gretchen said no. The polygraph examiner says you passed. That was truthful. So now Shannon's confused though, because Shannon says, well, Gretchen did tell Tamara and I that she went to the hospital, but the fact that she's passing the polygraph test, it doesn't make any sense. So Tamara says that there are liars who practice enough who can pass the polygraph test. So now we find out that Gretchen's entire test was truthful. So now it's Katie's turn. And here's where my blood was just like, I was too done, right? They ask her, did she tell Kiki Monique that Gretchen said that she was drugged and hospitalized? She says no. The examiner says you failed that question. Then they ask her, did you play the recording of Shannon to Alexis? Katie says no to that. She fails that question too. Then they ask her, did Gretchen ever tell you that she was drugged and went to the hospital? Katie says yes. She failed that question too. So now the examiner, and mind you, did anybody else feel like the examiner's energy was different for Katie? Because the way she spoke so nicely to everybody else, then when it came to Katie, she was like, oh, just so you know, you did the worst out of everybody. You failed your entire test. You got all of them wrong. I said, girl, take that bass out of your voice. Why can't you talk sweetly to her? Like, I don't know. I felt like the tone in the examiner's voice was different. She spoke to Tamra nicely. She spoke to Heather nicely. She spoke to Gretchen nicely. Even when they failed questions, she was like, oh, well, you know, you failed the question, but, you know, it's okay. When it got time to Katie, she was like, okay, Katie, here are your results. Just so you know, you failed the entire test. You did the worst out of everybody. I was like, oh, girl, like, what's this tone? I said, no, I did not like her tone. Yeah, it was very nasty. Her tone was sick. I said, oh, absolutely not. Yeah, she did. Oh, absolutely. She was so, her attitude, the way she was looking at her eyes, the tone, the facial expressions. She was staring at Katie with such disgust. I said, oh, no, ma'am. Absolutely not. You said Emily paid her for that tone. Oh, it definitely felt like that. It was giving that for sure. She was very nasty. Yes, honey. Take your bass and those bangs down respectfully. Exactly. Listen, y'all, it was, she definitely told her to get Katie for sure. They treated Katie like an intruder. She was very nasty. Some of these people who do the lie detector tests are hired to rig these tests. Kris Jenner knows. But wait though. But y'all know that they said that the examiners are both paid actors. They have a whole website saying we'll come to your house and if you hire us and pay us $50 an hour, we'll come and pretend to be polygraph examiners. These were paid actors. So I don't trust this entire test anyway. It was ridiculous. Hey, Amy Sullivan, thank you for the super chat. I got here 9 minutes late. You're such a bright light on this Monday. Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Bryce, and thank you for the super chat. These ladies have no backbone. Exactly. Can we have some self-respect? My goodness. Emily and Gina look like fools. They did. The way they sat up there and hugged Tamara when she walked through the door, I said, no, ma'am. They both look pathetic. Hey, Devonta Franklin, thank you for the super chat. And I was so sad I couldn't make it to the Campfire show because you're one of the reasons why I started watching OC and wanted to ask you what you thought. I wanted to ask what you thought. Oh, thank you. Well, listen, there will always be another show. But no, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Robert, thank you for the super chat. I just want to congratulate you again, Brooke. You have a natural stage presence. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, Chi-Chi, thank you for the super chat. So sad I missed the Friday show and the Wendy tea, but maybe you'll trip and spill it again. Thank you. For the Potomac Wendy tea, I mean, I'll talk about a little bit of it when Potomac comes back on. I think the cast could really reveal themselves this year through dog whistles and using Kiki, but the audience is tired of clueless clucks Karens. I'm screaming. Alexis told Carlos King that a valid test takes about 3 to 4 hours. There was no way they got through all that with the women because it was still daytime when Katie left. Yeah, they spent about 20 minutes on each housewife. No, that was too quick for that to be an accurate polygraph test, in my opinion. She was so nasty to Katie. Did y'all hear the lie detector lady say under her breath, she's so full of shit about Katie? Wow, that's nasty. The way she spoke to Katie was so off-putting. And if I were Katie, I would have cursed her out. Yup, if they're going to pick and choose which answers were true and false, throw the entire test away. Exactly. I would have gathered that lady too. I would have cursed her all the way out. I don't know who you're speaking to. You better talk to me with some respect. She lost her mind. She's like, oh, and by the way, Katie, you failed the entire test. You lied. I said, hold on. That lady had me all the way messed up. Absolutely not. Um, so now you have Gretchen mad at Katie because Katie said that, that Gretchen did tell her about her going to the hospital. So Gretchen says, you can't keep doing this, Katie. You can't keep lying. Katie says, I did not lie, Gretchen. We all sat at that dinner and I heard it. I'm not the only one who heard that. Jenn was right there too. She heard you say that. So now you have Gretchen going off about how, again, Katie's lying. So now Gretchen says, you're making all this up. Katie calls out for Jenn and she's like, Jenn, can you please help me out here, girl? Like, I'm not lying. You heard this too. Now, Jenn, I want you to know that I will never root for you ever again. I think that you are so pathetic. The fact that you would turn your back on your good friend, you are just as pathetic and as spineless as everybody else in this group. You know for a fact that you heard Gretchen say what she said at that dinner that you guys went to off camera, and for you to sit there and act like Katie is crazy. And also, I'm so tired of Jenn and this whole dumb blonde act. The whole thing about, I don't remember hearing that. I don't remember saying that. What do you mean? What? I'm just little old Jenn from Oklahoma. I'm just a Midwest girl here in the OC. I'm a dummy at 47. Like, I don't know anything. I'm so tired of that whole act. It's an act, it's a ruse, and it's played. It is so stale and it's so late and it's so tired. That woman is just as conniving as they all are. Jenn had us fooled because she was going through money problems. They kept ganging up on her last season and the season before that when Tamra threw that napkin in her face. But this season, she's showing her slip has shown. Her slip is showing. She is just as ruthless as everybody else. For you to sit up there and turn your back on Katie like that is disgusting. I said, oh no. And then Jenn, you're sitting up there spiraling on Instagram, talking about, okay, well, if I'm racist, then that I'm racist, like whatever, I'm over it. Guys, cancel me. Girl, you're a loser. You're a loser. With a loser ex-husband and a man who we don't know what he does for a living. But yeah, Jenn, I said, yeah, Jenn is a chop for me. And you were on Watch What Happens Live a few nights ago, and you made absolutely no sense. You sounded like a dummy in the clubhouse. You sound like a real fool. Yeah, she exposed herself. Yep, she played that dumb role real well, but now it's coming out. She's fake. Exactly. You said that's a hard 47 child. Listen, she is, well, she's always saying, she's 47 and she doesn't know a whole lot. And she got married at 22 and, she was taken for a ride. So this whole dumb blonde act at almost 50 years old, I'm tired of it. I tried to cut her some slack when she first came on the show, but I'm over it. For her to sit there and do this to Katie is nasty work. Very nasty. Yeah, her race crap comment made me completely throw her away. Yeah, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm so done. Very much so. Not to mention she looked like a y'all had me screaming. Jenn is a Sutton of OC, a horrible friend who sold out her real friend. Not all of them. I know Heather's not. Heather and Terry aren't. They're not. But I think, the majority of them are. Gretchen is. Tamra, I don't know if she is. I think she straddles the fence. I don't know. She keeps that real tight-lipped. Shannon's, we're not really clear where she stands. I wouldn't be surprised, but a hot mess. Now I understand why she's with Ryan. Yes, she was struggling on Watch What Happens Live. Andy was asking her questions like, well, Gretchen is lying, and she was just sitting up there talking in circles. She made no sense. Nothing Katie did deserves such humiliation. I agree. Imagine hiring other actors to embarrass someone in front of a whole group. Yup. Jenn is an idiot. Gretchen will turn on Jenn. Just watch. I agree. Talking about she don't know how to pay a bill. Yeah, like all that stuff, at first we felt sorry for her, but now it's like, okay, girl, this is obviously an act. You're doing this for sympathy. You're not that dumb. Jenn knows a lot more than she's letting on. She wants to be friends with Gretchen. She wants to be in with the cool girls. She can't be bothered with Katie. She said, okay, Katie, it was fun. Katie was a means to an end. Katie was always a placeholder friend. Katie was only her good friend because they were both on the outs of the group. But the minute that Jenn got her foot in with the cool girls, now she's kind of somewhat in the in crowd. Now she can't be bothered. Now she can't be bothered with Miss Katie. I just said that was real nasty work. Is it true Shannon might be demoted to a friend of? I wouldn't be surprised. Shannon's not bringing anything this season. None of these women are likable. I agree. Yes, Jenn left Katie for dead. She did. Child, you said listen, that kind of treatment is common when you are the only one in the group. Exactly. When you're the only chocolate chip in the cookie, when you're the only, I'm trying to think of another pun for people of color who are like the only ones in an all, non-Black friend group. I don't know what the pun would be for Katie in this instance, but yeah, when it's the only Black person in a setting, we say the only chocolate chip in the cookie. Yeah, yeah, she's the token friend, and they said, "Girl, we don't need you anymore." Y'all have me screaming. I stopped watching towards the end of last season, but the unwatched child, the only y'all are so funny. Jenn is racist and disgusting. I think Jenn wanted someone to take Tamra down, and Gretchen came along, and she's D-riding to the very end, and Katie was collateral damage. I agree. Katie is boring, though, to be honest. I hate that they made me defend her. Listen, I'm not saying that Katie's innocent. I'm not saying that you have to like Katie, but we can all agree that how they're doing Katie is real nasty, considering the fact that they are all lying in this very moment. They are all lying. And I don't know why Gretchen just won't own up to the fact that she did say that she went to the hospital after that night happened years ago. I don't know why she won't just come out and come clean. The fact that she's going to sit up there and call Katie the liar is disgusting. Yeah, they're all liars. They're all liars. Hey, Robert, thank you for the super chat. That little boy is Shane Jr. Emily's awful for acting like her son. Calling her was a bother. Oh, when he was calling her in this last episode, I think that Emily is being overly dramatic. I can't get with this storyline. I'm not here for this storyline with her. I don't think it's right or it's fair that she's airing out her son's business for a storyline. I don't think it's fair. I think that her son deserves to have his privacy. Her son is only 10 years old. He doesn't deserve this. If he were older and he said, "Mom, you can share this with everybody," fine. But at 10 years old, he's just, he doesn't know what's going on. That's not fair for her to do this. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. When Emily said the show will lead to her divorce, yeah, Emily wants to be a victim. I think that Emily is doing anything to have a storyline. I'm not feeling the storyline. Now, I've had a few people in my comments tell me that, maybe I'm being too hard on Emily. Maybe that it's a good thing that she's sharing this. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Something in my gut is telling me that Emily is doing this for some attention and she has nothing else going on. I just don't think it's right for her to use this as a storyline. Did her son give her permission to tell this? If he gave her permission to share this, then fine. But I just feel like this is going to come back to bite her in the butt later on. It can lead to her son maybe being ostracized. I don't know. I just don't think that it's fair. Your kid is already in an unusual situation with your mom being famous, well-known. That's already a lot. Fame leads to it can be very isolating. You know what I'm saying? Being well known, being in the public eye is very isolating already. So to add another layer of your mom sharing your business on national TV and you're trying to make friends, like I don't like it. I don't like it. Yes, completely agree. You can bring awareness, but not in a way that feels exploitative. Yes, towards children. Yes, especially during this digital age. I agree. It's just not. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I don't think that they filmed the reunion already. I want to know how they'll tackle the fans being on Katie's side of all of this. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes down too. You see how Kiki Wyatt's son aired her out for sharing his business. Yeah, he sure did. And that whole situation is a mess. And she's a lawyer. What is she doing? I thought the scene with Emily and her son was awful. I can't believe she filmed that to stay on the show. Guys, listen, right now we're talking about Orange County, okay? Let's stick to the topic at hand. On top of that, I've said it over and over again. If you missed the live show, I will talk about it when Potomac comes on, okay? So, because I keep seeing the comments and it's a bit distracting. Again, I said it. I will talk about it when Potomac comes back on because it is relevant to it. So if you watch Potomac, if you watch my Potomac recaps, I'll tell you when Potomac comes back on October 5th. But right now, I do want to cover Orange County. All right, thank you. Yeah, using your child for a storyline is a new low. I agree. Didn't like when Mia did it either. No, it's horrible. It's horrible. I think that he might resent her. Child, don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble. No, I just have to say no, because I keep seeing the comments and I said it in the beginning. I've been saying it, I've repeated myself 8 times or 9 times already. I'm just saying. I want to keep repeating myself. I'm gonna share it when Potomac starts back up. If you were at the live show, you know it. If you weren't at the live show and you want to tell people, that's fine. Okay, feel free. But like I said, if you were at the live show, you know it. If you weren't at the live show, I'll be talking about it when Potomac comes back on, and we'll talk about it there. All right. But right now, we're talking about Orange County, and then when I talk about Miami, we're gonna talk about Miami. Okay. So, you said Levette, get your people. I'm screaming. But yes. Yeah, we do see everybody ganging up on Katie though in this episode. It was really hard to watch. It was really hard to watch. Jenn says, how dare you tell this lie? I didn't hear anything. I feel so dumb. I feel so duped. I was close to Katie. Katie was my friend. And in one fell swoop, it's gone. Now, I'm telling you, now, y'all, I don't know about y'all. When Emily started screaming at Katie, here's my thing. There's so many layers to this because y'all know how I feel about hosting people, being a good hostess. When you have somebody in your home, it's sacred because not everybody should be in your space. When you invite somebody into your home, you need to treat them well. And the way Emily just started screaming at Katie just felt so cruel. Because to bring somebody into your home to dog them out like that is just that's a different type of evil. And when she said, Katie, nobody believes you, you're a liar, and she's pointing at her like this, that really just shook me. And you know how I'm big on respecting people in their homes, but I'm not going to hold you. If somebody ever brought me to their home to embarrass me in front of a group like that, I would flip the F out. I would go crazy in your home. I'm not even going to hold you because that's such disrespect to have me in your home and you're bringing me there to embarrass me and then to kick me out. Like I would have gone insane. And the fact that Katie was sitting there holding back tears, that was just That was real nasty work. That was real. Yeah, I wish that she would have fought back a little bit too. Same here. Yes, Emily wants to beat Tamra so bad. She thinks that the villain role will keep her on the show. Yeah, it was a setup. Katie did look beautiful. I felt bad. My heart really broke for Katie. Nobody deserves that. If you don't like somebody like that, then don't have them in your home. But to have somebody in your home and to treat them so poorly is messed up. So they're all just watching her, being berated by Emily. Gina jumps in and says, "You've lost your credibility with everybody here." So now Emily says, "Katie, you should just go." So when Katie leaves, it's not enough that they've kicked her out. You have Gina yelling at her as she's leaving. Gina, if Katie would have turned back around and done something to you, I wouldn't have even been upset. I've already been embarrassed. I've already been humiliated. It was taking everything in me not to not jump through that TV and get everybody together. That was just such a low thing to do to somebody. Gina, it's not even your house. Why are you yelling at her? That's not even shut up. That was real nasty. I said, listen, honey, I said, times like this, we need Mia, Julia, or Monique. Exactly. I wanted to cry seeing that because even though Katie is a liar, I don't trust it. It feels like they're bullying her and knows he has a bad history with people of color. It was a setup from beginning to end. Yeah, she looked so defeated. I felt so bad. You said I would have trashed her home. Listen, had Katie broken a vase, had she had slammed some flowers down, had she had thrown an egg on the wall, I would not have been mad. Yes, under the guise of a Persian New Year, shaking my head, Emily set her up to embarrass her. Had Emily been on the opposite and she'd been kicking, had been on the opposite and she'd be kicking and screaming to stay, Katie did not deserve all that. Exactly. I don't understand why they were yelling at her. Katie better call the person who writes Phaedra's reads for this reunion because she needs to gather them. Beavis and Butthead, we're both ready to get popped at that point. You said I would have thrown up on the bathroom floor. Why do you always say if I'm being honest? Because I can. You said you would have thrown a rock through the window. Yes, I've come to the conclusion that a lot of these housewives were bullies when they were in high school, and now they're just bullies with money. Oh, very much so. And very insecure women. They were very insecure. Everybody was vile and disrespectful to Katie when she was leaving. I don't understand the yelling as she was leaving. I agree. Yeah, that was a huge pile on. You said the spread would have been spread on the floor. Exactly. That was the biggest pile on I've ever seen. Extremely unnecessary for all of them. And them seeing no wrong with it made it worse. Exactly. Listen, right? Because I can and did. They act like she tried to take their man. No, they acted so poorly. It was very disrespectful. Very. So now we see Katie outside talking to the producer. She's in tears. She says, I don't know why they're lying. I can lay my head at night knowing that I told the truth. Then she says, this might be the last time anyone ever sees me with this group of women again. And now we see to be continued. So that's the end of episode 8. Now, episode 9 was a whole wash for me. I thought it was boring. We do see everybody talking about, it's a continuation of the last episode. We do see everybody still at Emily's house. They're all talking about Katie. Emily says, well, she failed every single question. I said, girl, you also failed questions too. You failed when they asked you, were you talking about Heather in front of your kids? You failed that one. Heather failed the paparazzi question. Gretchen failed a question. All of y'all failed a question on the test. Nobody really passed the test except for Gretchen. Gretchen was the only one who passed her test. I don't know how she passed it, but okay. But for you to say that she failed the entire test, she failed all the answers. Okay, but you didn't get you didn't pass all your questions either. Like, I was so mad. Gretchen's still lying about, well, no, I did say that I was so sick, I should have gone to the hospital. She's changing what she said, just lying. Gretchen says, right now, I don't want to be around Katie. Jenn goes on to say, well, what happens now? You have Heather talk about, well, Jenn, if you still want to be friends with her because you get something from her, then so be it. Nobody's going to fault you for that. I said, Heather, I'm going to need you to stop talking like you run anything over here. For you to say, if you want to still be friends with her because if you get something from her, like, what does that mean? That's her friend. What do you get from Tamra? You get protection from her from what she does to other people. That's why you're so up her behind. Don't say that, because if I were Jenn, I would have said, well, girl, what do you get out of Tamra's friendship? Because the way she dogs you out every other season. Don't do that, Miss Heather. I said, Heather, the way Heather tries to act like she has your best interest at heart, but it's always laced in shade. And for her to say that, I didn't like that statement. Because, girl, what do you get out of your friendship with Tamra? I'll wait. I was she was so lame for that. I was so annoyed. I was so irritated with that. She's very weak with no backbone. It's that comment was very telling. And then it's like, you're pretty much telling her that there will be problems for Jenn in this group if she does stay friends with Katie. You're pretty much telling her that. So now you have Gretchen saying, well, Jenn, if you still stay friends with her, I will be mad at you. I said, Gretchen, you're a liar. You have no right to be mad at anybody. Just own up to it. You said that you were hospitalized after Naked Wasted. You were mad at Tamra all those years. Just own it. You said it. Now Jenn says, what Katie's doing is causing all this division in my friendships, and it's a hard position to be in. I don't know what to do. I said, Jenn, you're a coward, because for you to blame Katie is disgusting. I was too done. Emily's party. Emily, you should feel ashamed of yourself to sit up here and hire these paid actors with this false lie detector test that wasn't worth a damn. For you to sit up here and then to kick that woman out of your house the way you did was shameful. Absolutely shameful. You're sitting up here trying to kiss up to somebody who called you unattractive. That woman, Tamra, called you Shrek. Tamra said that, let me not, because I really want to go off, but Tamra called you everything but a child of God. Tamra was calling you all sorts of names. And you sitting up there trying to be her best friend, knowing that Tamra will never see it for you. Tamra and Vicky said that you and Gina were both losers. You weren't cool. You looked like Shrek. Called you everything but a child of God when you first joined the show. But yet you want to be buddy-buddy with her. Tamra's only using you to do her dirty work. That's it. You're nothing but a flunky to her. What aren't you getting? To see grown women at y'all's big ages going out like this. You are still chasing the high school popularity that you never got when you were a teenager. It still eats you up to this day that you're not considered cool, because I'm just not understanding why you have such an allegiance to somebody who does not see it for you. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. Hey, Robert, thank you for the super chat. It's crazy how OC went from my favorite city to sometimes forgetting it's on. Same. I hate that they're going downhill, approaching their milestone season. I hate it for them too, but they brought this on themselves. They brought this on themselves. I don't know how Heather has such good posture with no spine. Listen, it's the truth. Emily is still chasing that popularity that she never got growing up. Because for her to be going out like this, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I will never see it for Emily. Never. That scene with Gretchen and Emily getting testosterone shots in their butt, I don't care. Emily's just not interesting at all. Yeah, I'm just not here for it whatsoever. So now we have Katie and Jenn meeting up. right? To like figure out the state of their friendship. You have Jenn, you have Katie saying, I think that this was a whole setup by Gina and Emily. These guys are paid actors. So she has her receipts to show that they're paid actors. Jenn says, well, the group's going to think that that's, that that's not true, that that's preposterous. So Katie says, well, if you don't believe me, that's fine, girl. So Jenn's like, well, I'm just trying to figure it out. Which part are you saying I don't believe you about? I can't stand how Jenn talks in circles. Girl, you obviously have chosen your side. Just say that. Jenn says, Jenn says, Gretchen told us a story about naked wasted. Then she said the next morning she went to the hospital. They did a toxicology report. They found something in her blood. No, Katie says that. So Jenn says, well, no, she said that she felt like she had to go to the hospital. So Katie says, well, that's how she's twisting it now, but that's not what she told us. So of course you have Jenn saying, well, I don't want to play this game. And of course you don't want to play the game because you want to be on the cool side. You don't want to be on Katie's side. So you've made up your mind that you're not going to believe Katie. You're going to gaslight Katie. This is really nasty work. This scene really pissed me off because Jenn sat there and looked at Katie in this moment like she was a stranger. Now, may I say something? When they were at this coffee shop, did anybody think that it was interesting how Jenn was already eating her food? She already had like her croissant and her coffee, and then she didn't even order anything for Katie. I said, girl, you were broke when you first joined the show, and Katie was always buying you dinners and lunches. You couldn't buy a coffee or a croissant for Katie? It was going to kill you to do that? I said, girl, all the freebies you've gotten, you couldn't extend the offer. I just said, okay, girl, like that already pissed me off. I was like, okay, girl, I see you. You have Katie says, I've taken accountability. No, you have Jenn saying, I'm here to lovingly tell you that it's messy being around you. At some point, there has to be some accountability. So Katie says, I have taken accountability for what I've done and where I've gone wrong and misstepped with, but I did not lie about this. So I'm not going to take ownership for that because, again, I did not lie about that. So Jenn says, well, the fact that you won't own up to this tells me everything that I need to know. And now you have Katie saying, okay. So now Jenn says, I've been waiting for somebody to give me an answer about where I am with this friendship. Why does this keep happening when it comes to Katie? So now you have Katie saying, Katie is pissed. So Jenn says, I don't know where we go from here. It makes me sad. So Katie's like, you know what? I'm just going to leave. They both leave. And Katie looks so dejected. I just thought that was really nasty because the way Jenn played in this scene, I said, Jenn, how can you sleep at night knowing that to betray a friend is one thing, but to sit up there and lie and gaslight them, you know good and damn well that Katie is telling the truth about what she heard. You know that Gretchen is lying. For you to sit here and now say, well, Katie, why can't you take ownership? Why are you always surrounded in drama? Well, Jenn, we can say the same thing about you. Why are you always mired in drama? Why do you have all this drama with your ex-husband who can't pay his bills and the child support? You have Ryan being caught up with the feds coming to sweep people up. There's a lot of drama attached to you too. So the same could be said about you too as well, Miss Mamas. So don't act like Katie has such a drama-filled life. So do you. You and your 5 kids and your 20 pets are living with your fiance, who we still don't know how he makes his money. Just saying. But I just feel like, how dare you sit up there and act like Katie is just so drama-filled. I didn't like that. Jenn has been playing the memory loss game this season. It's really tiring. Own up to what, girl? Oh my gosh, what is not clicking? Katie tried so hard just to be betrayed. Jenn was never a true friend to Katie. Katie looked defeated and done. She did. Jenn, why are you playing Boo Boo the Fool? Yes, there's nothing more aggravating than someone who knows they're lying to your face. Oh, absolutely. Jenn viewed her friendship with Katie as an alliance while Katie saw it as a friendship. Exactly. They will turn on Jenn next season, and I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, yes, they will. Absolutely. Um, so the scene with Gina and her ex-husband's new wife, Brit, we can skip past that. I didn't really, I don't have anything to say. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that, so we can skip right past that. We do see Heather and Tamra meet up for lunch. Tamra says that she couldn't sleep last night. What the hell happened? Heather says that she actually did try to move forward with Katie this year. I said, Heather, how? You paid Katie dust this season. Did you not forget? You paid Katie dust the first 4 episodes of this season. You were never trying to see it for Katie ever. So how did you try and move forward with Katie? No, you did not. You cooked this whole thing up with the rest of the women too because you can't stand Katie. So stop it. You in every confessional, you were saying, Katie's a liar. Something's not right with Katie. I still can't get over what she did to me last season. So stop. So don't do that. You never gave her a chance. They do talk about Jenn and Tamra's friendship. Oh no. Let me go back. Jenn also joins them for their lunch. So Jenn says, just so you guys know, the other day I did meet up with Katie, and she told me that she thinks that it was a setup because the people were paid actors. So of course you have Heather saying, "What? That doesn't make any sense. They're not for entertainment." Then Then she's all sarcastic, saying the polygraph people work on TV. Okay, that's fine. Guess what? My husband's a doctor on TV and a doctor in real life. So are you going to say that he's not a real doctor? I said, Heather, stop it. Heather likes to play on people's tops. Heather, you know exactly what Katie's talking about. Those people are frauds. They are paid actors. They are not real polygraph examiners. That's what Katie's talking about. For you to sit there and say, well, my husband is a doctor on TV. Does that mean that he's not a real doctor? You cannot compare apples to oranges, Heather. And Heather thinks that we can't see right through her. Just say you don't like the lady. You don't like Katie. You want her to be a liar. And it is what it is. I was too done with Heather when she said that. I was so aggravated. We do see Tamara and Jenn work out their friendship for the millionth time. I just don't care. I really don't care. You have Tamara. I'm over Jenn. I don't give a damn anymore about her, what she has going on. Tamara can never own up to what she does. So we can fast forward through this scene. I really don't care. I don't care if Jenn and Tamara are friends or if they fall out, make up again. I no longer care. So we can just skip right past that. Shannon, Gina, and Emily meeting up to shop for home decor. This scene was a chop to me. We do see Emily saying, oh, by the way, Jenn called me up earlier and told me that she met up with Katie, and Katie said that we set her up, that those people were hired actors. So now Emily says, for her to say that, for her to think that I have all this time on my hands, I said, well, apparently you do. You have no storyline of your own. You do have time on your hands to even plan a stupid party like that with these paid actors. So now Gina says, you know who would say that? Somebody who sets people up. I said, Gina, just be happy that you're still on this show 8 seasons later. You should have been gone. I can't stand either one of them. So Emily says, it's not a setup. Just tell the effing truth and then you'll pass the test. Well, what about you, sis? You failed one of the questions. You failed the question about, do you talk ish about Heather in front of your kids? You failed that. So why don't you tell the effing truth? Tell the truth about how you were talking about Heather and your kids heard it. You're still you're gonna die with that lie that you didn't say anything about that lady in your house when you know that you did. I was too done. Emily has nothing but time. Be so for real. Exactly. Yeah, Gina's been here 8 seasons, unfortunately. Her and Emily. Hey, High Vibe. Thank you for the super chat. If Katie said she did everything they accused her of, then their plot would have been blown. It's chess at all times. Exactly. Producers had a rough time editing this season to make sense of this dumb plot. These ladies got me tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Listen, let's talk about it. Gina might very well be in foreclosure, car repossessed if she ever loses this Bravo check. Be very clear about that. Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. We saw how Travis was sitting up there crying when she broke up with him and kicked him out the house last season. She'll be doing the same thing if Bravo cuts ties with her too. I was so done. They failed their most important questions. Exactly. And she has the nerve to say, well, tell the effing truth. No, you tell the effing truth. You said Gina still has chilies. Now we see, again, we're going to skip past Emily crying about her son. I don't like this storyline. For her to make a big deal about him FaceTiming her, she said that he doesn't listen. He talks like a baby. He doesn't want to go to school. He just calls her every day. Now, first of all, Shane blew your cover in the 2 episodes ago when he said, now, girl, when you're not around, Luke is just fine. He's not talking like a baby. He only does it when you're around. That's it. He's just fine. I'm not buying what Emily's trying to sell, and these tears, we can move right past it. I'm not doing this with Emily in this storyline. I don't think it's fair that she's even using her son as a storyline in the first place, in my opinion. We do see Katie and her husband talking about all this mess. Now, one thing about it, Matt goes real hard. He rides real hard for Katie, and I love it. I think that it is fabulous the way he sits up there and rides for his wife. Matt confirms that Slade was calling him all the time. We see his call log, and we see that Slade was calling. He says, I was on the phone with Slade for 43 minutes. You think I'm just shooting the ish with Slade? I'm not. He pretty much told me that Gretchen would deny this and said that Katie needs to hold the line and protect Gretchen. Matt says that Slade is trying to cover his tracks. He says, whenever I've hung out with Slade, it was Slade always telling me how he started the Housewives. Katie had me screaming. She said, why does Slade want to be a housewife so bad? It's because he's unemployed. His job is being Gretchen's bitch. I said, let him know. I said, Katie, read down. I was here for it. I was here for that read. Because what does Slade have going on? I'll wait. What money is he bringing in? I'll wait. Yeah, Matt loves his wife down. Exactly. Matt is a keeper. Matt is a real one. Yeah, I like Matt a lot. I just felt bad because, Katie starts crying. She says, they're out to bury Tamra and Jenn. They're out to bury Tamra, and then Jenn left you out to dry. Katie says it's the most hurtful thing about this, losing her dear friend. I miss Jenn. Then she says there's no coming back from this. I don't think I'll ever be with these women ever again. Now, Jenn's beach day, we're not even gonna. I don't care. I didn't care about that whole makeup scene with Jenn, with Tamra and Gretchen. I don't care. Let me say this, Jenn. The fact that you got your broke self on this camera and you hosted a beach day, and when it came time for them to open up their picnic baskets, you only had a dry croissant for them, and then you made a joke saying, guys, I'm on a budget. Baby, if you can't feed the people, don't host the people. For you to sit up there and play, they opened up their picnic baskets and you only had a piece of bread for them. I said, absolutely not. I said, girl, don't you host anything then. The fact that you couldn't keep a little piece of your Bravo check to host a real event with some real food, you were better off ordering pizzas and some salads. You only had a croissant for them and tried to make that stale joke saying, oh, guys, I'm on a budget. Food is expensive. Girl, I said, yeah, the Brit Edie special, absolutely. There was no food. I said, yeah, girl, you want to sit up there and try to shade Katie, and the whole time you're throwing an event and can't even feed folks? No, ma'am. Jenn, you will never be that girl, ever. I said, I didn't watch the episode. Did she just give them a croissant? She did. She did exactly what I just said. Like, it was embarrassing. That was my last straw. What? Brooke never plays with cheap folks. I don't. Budget. Ain't her man paying for her clothes? A whole liar. She used her son's volleyball trainers instead of hiring somebody. Yeah, she's so cheap. And I notice that every time she comes to somebody's house, she always shows up empty-handed. It's like she's very cheap and tacky. She's very cheap and tacky. I know I was trying to ride for her last season because they were getting on her, but I'm like, girl, you have no manners. You have no couth. You're just so tacky. You're just so late for you to sit up there and have a beach day and no food and then try to laugh about it and say that I'm on a budget. No, I would have gotten up and left. Jenn, can't your man fund the event? It's weird. At least bring a Costco pizza, not even an almond or chocolate croissant at that. Some dry stale croissant. That's why she didn't buy Katie some coffee or tea. She's too broke. Exactly. A mess. That dry bread and cheese was crazy. I didn't even see cheese. She just said they just opened up. I just saw bread. You said, Ryan said I ain't feeling them. Snatch the card and allowance. No food. I'm out. Honey, listen. I once again would have left. Don't play with me and my food if you don't order a couple of pizzas. Exactly. You said Emily was enjoying that croissant. You can't be on Housewives talking about a budget. I agree. Girl, I can hook that event up for $200 easily. I'd rather the gifts be cheap than you have no food. No food shouldn't even be an option. I know. She did all that. All those table settings and no food. Blonde and naked is what that beach day was. Only bread is crazy. It's shameful. Yeah, I was surprised that they didn't make a big deal about that either. I was very surprised about that. You said these housewives act like it's so expensive to get a little food platter. Girl, DoorDash it from Costco or something. Why is OC always giving broke? She should be demoted for that crime. I agree. She had a dusty charcuterie on the side. Did she? She had charcuterie on the side? I didn't see. I just saw beautiful place settings, and then they opened up their little basket, and it was a piece of bread with a napkin on top of it. I didn't see any grapes or cheese. And if she did have charcuterie, it was probably two grapes and a slice of cheese. I guess she thought since the girls are on the Zempic, they wouldn't be that hungry. Oh gosh, it's ridiculous. Real Housewives of Broke C. That's so true. You can run into Costco and grab a deli platter. Yeah, we can just skip past it though. This beach day was sorry and broke and tacky. I didn't care about Gretchen and Tamra making up. Shannon's daughter coming and they're sharing their worst breakup stories. I just didn't care. Now this latest episode 10, was a snooze fest. This latest episode was a snooze fest. I couldn't even get through the episode. That's how boring this latest episode was. I said, really? We're at episode 10, and this is all you guys can give us? This episode was so boring. We do see that Tamra is hosting a girls' trip for just her, Shannon, Gina, and Jenn. She's inviting Shannon on FaceTime. Shannon is skeptical. Shannon says, I'm not too excited about this trip. I'm hesitant about this trip because of my history with Tamra, how she treated me last year. She goes on to ask, am I going to laugh with her like I did in New Orleans, or is it going to be another hurtful argument? Now, Shannon, you keep going back to Tamra, so I don't really care about this whole pity party. Yeah, you actually turned episode 10 off halfway through. It was so boring. This episode was so raggedy. We're at the halfway point of the season and we're not getting anything. RHOC is rubbish. Yeah, it is. Shannon is always the victim. Shannon annoyed me. She doesn't have to go. Yeah, Shannon just wants attention. Emily and Tamra shopping. Don't care. Do not care. Emily, I feel, always wants sympathy. Talking about the daughter had her cheer competition and how she has concerns about, does her daughter feel connected to her because of Luke? I'm just not interested. I'm really not. Emily, if you feel so strongly then get off the show. Then I don't have, I literally don't have any concern. I just don't care about Emily and what she has going on. And that's just however that sounds, I'm being honest. I can't take it anymore. We do see Gina, Shannon, and Jenn at lunch. Jenn says that she got a call from Tamra inviting her to Temecula. Gina says, oh yeah, I said yes. Jenn says, I said yes to the trip. Shannon says, I didn't answer. I don't want to pursue the old friendship again. I'm good where I'm at. You have Jenn saying, Shannon, just go for me and Gina. Jenn says, I always have fun with Tamra. She is a good time. So Shannon says, yeah, you have fun with her until you don't have fun with her. You have Jenn saying, well, she's trying to better herself. Let's just be there for her. We're the bigger people. Jenn is so full of it. Jenn just wants to be friends with Tamra. That's the long and the short of it. She still craves Tamra's approval. So Shannon does say that she's going to go on the trip, which we knew that she was. Heather talking about her podcast episode in LA. That was boring. The scene with Emily and Jenn they're at the animal shelter. Not much happened there either. Again, y'all, this episode was filled with filler scenes. Nothing really happened. Emily's still going on and on about how the stuff going on with Luke could cause her and Shane to be divorced, how she's upset about it, and she feels like she coddles Luke, and she's still waiting on the results about whether Luke is on the spectrum or not. Y'all know how I feel. I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. Let's move on. We do see Heather call up Emily and Gretchen. She's inviting them to a sleepover at her penthouse in Beverly Hills. She says, we're going to go to dinner. We're going to go to a bar, have some fun. So Emily is excited. So Heather says, if Tamara's going to go on her apology tour to Temecula, then it's a perfect time for me to spend time with Emily and Gretchen by ourselves. They're fun. They're easy to get along with, and it's going to be a good time. So now it's the day of both trips. We see Shannon, Gina, Jenn, all at Tamra's house. It's going to Temecula. Now, Shannon, it's only a 24-hour trip. Why are you bringing several large suitcases like you're going away for a week? Like, you can tell that Shannon does stuff just for attention. And the fact that she brought a whole suitcase filled with cookware, knowing that you're going to a house that's going to have all of that there. And they were even like, girl, you don't need to bring your cookie sheets and your baking pans. Like, that's going to be there already. Like, it just feels like Shannon wants attention when she does certain things. Yes, Emily speaking divorce into her reality. The tongue is powerful. Exactly. You just, certain things I just feel should not be said. I think that like you said, your words are very powerful. I've always felt that way about their marriage too. I've always felt that way about their marriage. I've never seen the connection in their marriage ever. I usually have a favorite every season, but this season, there's not a favorite in sight. Same. Shannon is mentally stunted. Shannon can't even dress for real for her to be having all that. Shannon, yes, she wants to be the Kathy Hilton of OC. Absolutely. It's giving very much that. The whole Ditzy act it's running old. It's running very thin. She's very performative. Exactly. It's very annoying. Agreed. Shannon comes for money. Shannon knows damn well she doesn't want to be baking on a girls' trip. Exactly. Shannon's shtick has gotten really old. Speaking things into existence. Yeah, Emily needs to stop. The OC girls love to overproduce moments. Emily stuffing food in her pants. Shannon overpacking. It's so clear. Shannon is beyond neurotic. I agree. So now we see they're in the car on their way to Temecula. We find out that Shannon's missing a tooth. She says she's been missing her tooth for a couple of years. Now, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's interesting to me how people can laugh at certain people missing a tooth. But if this were a black woman on a show like this, it was laughing about missing a tooth, folks would be calling her everything but a child of God, saying how ghetto that was, or saying how tacky that is, and you have all this money, you have all this Chanel, how are you missing a tooth? But you know what I'm saying? But people, when Shannon or somebody, you know what I'm saying, when they do, and other people make jokes about that, it's all a key, it's a funny laugh, ha ha. But let somebody with some melanin in their skin laugh about missing a tooth, it will be, oh girl, you on TV missing a tooth. You know what I'm saying? I said, okay. I said, now Shannon, you have money. I'm surprised that hasn't been fixed yet. Yep, the goalpost moving. Exactly. Always okay for a Sonia or a Shannon. Exactly. Yes, I agree. Shannon has too much money to be walking around with missing teeth. Exactly. Okay. All right. So we see each other. All right. So now we're back in Beverly Hills. Now I have to say, Heather did a beautiful job setting up for her sleepover. Her penthouse looked gorgeous. So we see Emily and Gretchen on their way to Beverly Hills, and Emily brought Fireball for Heather. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I just think it's really interesting how Emily's always fixated on seeing people in a very vulnerable state. The constant jokes about, well, I brought the Fireball for Gretchen and Heather to let their hair down, especially Gretchen, because Gretchen's always perfectly coiffed, and I want to see her with her vagina out and her just, looking all crazy. It's like you have an obsession with seeing people at their worst moments. Why is that? Let's unpack that. Like, why does it bother you when people appear to be too perfect? Because it just seems like there's always Emily's hidden jealousy and envy slips out. And that's why I always say, you got to watch out for that. And people think that they're hiding their jealousy, and they're not. Because Emily's always making some reference to trying to mess somebody up, or getting somebody who appears to be too perfect or whatever. Like, it bothers her when other women look good. Let me get off of that topic. We'll be here all day. Yes, misery loves company. Exactly. It's easier for Emily to pick people apart when it's not her. Exactly. Yeah, it's always something. You would never get me. You could, like, there are people like Emily, I wouldn't even drink around them because of their insecurities. Like, they want to see you down and out. They want to see you messed up. They want to see you looking ugly. They want to see you when your makeup's not on. They want to see you when you're all a mess. Like, stay away from people like Emily. And the fact that she said that, I brought the Fireball so that Gretchen will be let loose and, have her vagina out and not be so perfectly done up. Why does that bother you that she's perfectly done up? Unpack that, Emily. Let's sit there and unpack that. Yes. Yeah, very much so. A self-deprecating joker and thinks that everyone else should be too. Exactly. A jealous person is a dangerous person. Wait, that is the God's honest truth. Very much so. It's just her intentions. Like, yes, Emily's dangerous. Why would you say that? I fell asleep twice on the episode. Yeah, it was a bad episode. You said Emily was dying to pack in a doggy bag leftovers of crustacean. Yes, she was. So now we see they arrive. They're in Beverly Hills. Heather greets them. She has a butler greet them with champagne. She's giving them a house tour of the penthouse. It's beautiful, right? So Heather says, well, this is my first sleepover party. How was your drive? Emily says, yeah, it was a good drive, but we analyzed Tamra the whole entire time. Mind you, we see the flashback, and it's Emily running her mouth about Tamra not being a girl's girl, being insecure. And I said, Emily, that's also you. That's also you, my dear. That's you. You're talking about yourself. You and Tamra are like this, baby. It's you too. It's not just Tamra. That's you too, sis. And I want the whole term "girl's girl" to die. It's not true. That's only real on the internet. In real life, that's not true. Stop. I want everybody to stop calling themselves that. It's not true. It's all a lie. If you hear somebody call themselves a girl's girl, run for the hills, honey. I want that term to die. It's not true. It's not. It's not. We could talk about that another time, but I want that term. I just roll my eyes when I hear that. I say, okay, it's always the most jealous women saying that. Please stop, stop. And for Emily to say that is a joke. So now you have Heather saying, well, Tamara and Jenn are on a fresh start. So you have Emily saying, well, I might have ruined that, honestly, because I said something. I mentioned to Jenn, I saw Jenn the other day and she's still upset about that fatty picture that Tamara was showing around. Now, Emily, the fact that Emily gets so much glee out of ruining somebody's friendship. Like the fact that you're just so happy to be a miserable person and spread your misery says so much about you. It's ridiculous. Child, listen, honey, let's talk about that. Can I pin your comment? Can I pin your comment? It's okay until until you start looking good, until you start looking better. Have a glow up. Lose a bunch of weight and start dressing better. Start beating your face with makeup. What? Start dating somebody start dating a really good guy. Okay. Start looking good. Glow up in your looks. Start touching some real money. Stop it. Oh, listen, start doing well in life and you'll see ain't no such thing. It is so, you better speak the truth. You better speak the truth. Pretty much, if your life is good in any way possible, don't let everything be hitting at the same time. Stop it. It's all a farce. It's all a lie. Exactly. If I could pin your comment, I would pin it. I would pin it. Hey, Robert, thank you for the super chat. 50,000 points for Shannon telling Tamra off. I mean, yeah, but we've seen this before. We've seen it all before. So I'm not giving Shannon points for that. Honestly and truthfully, I'm not giving her points for that. We've seen this before. We've seen it before. You know, that's what that's, yeah, okay. We listen, that's all. Listen, I know I'm talking about firsthand, honey. I saw everybody drop. Listen. That's what that means. It means we're only girls when we're all the same level. Let somebody else elevate, and then it's all hell breaks loose. Okay, exactly. If I could pin your comment, I would. Okay. Listen, honey, it be seeping through the pores, honey. I'm telling you. Yes, honey, we see each other. They're preaching. All right. Let you start doing well in life, and ain't no such thing. It means we're all, when everybody's average, when everybody's just doing all right, that's fine. But when the elevation comes, you get engaged, you get married, you buy a new house, you buy a new car. Listen, go and get show up to the next event in a Range Rover or a G-Wagon, and you'll find out you ain't no girls. Come, stop. We'll do it. Listen, y'all know we could talk about that for 20 hours straight. It's not real. It is not real. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Okay? All lies. So now, we cut back to the other women, the other group in Temecula. They arrived to the house. Shannon doing all that, unpacking her luggage with the cooking pans and the pots and the baking sheets. It just felt so performative. I said, Shannon, again, you didn't have to do that. And then she brought her blender and she's like, oh, well, I brought this because I'm making breakfast for everybody in the morning. Shannon, nobody asked you to do that. And second of all, sis, they had all the pans and pots. They have everything that you needed. I'm sure they had the expensive blenders in the house too. So for you to bring that, it just felt like you wanted a moment. Because again, there was no reason for that. Yeah, it's all an act with Shannon now. It's all, exactly. It's ridiculous. So now we're back over in Beverly Hills. And Heather, Gretchen, and Emily are on Rodeo Drive. I love Rodeo Drive, okay? Heather says, I have my black card today. I might buy you all something. They're all geek. Gretchen's like, oh, can you buy me a Birkin? So they all start laughing. Of course, Emily's like, "Oh, Heather, did you call the paparazzi today?" They all laugh. Now, what are the odds that we see some random paparazzo on the side of the street and they're like, "Oh, hey, Heather, I know for a fact that you did not call the paparazzi. It was a random shot." That was so fake to me. I said, "Heather, for you to sit up there and do this, how much did you pay this person?" That was faker than a $3 bill. That was so fake. It was so staged. That was so staged. And then Heather says, "I'm vindicated." I said, "Girl, no, you're not." So now they're at Crustacean. Oh, and Crustacean is fabulous. What? Crustacean in Beverly Hills? Food is chef's kiss. So Heather's paying for it. It's her treat. You have Emily trying to order up the whole menu. So now Gretchen goes on to ask if they have Fireball because when she mixes, things get kind of crazy. So she says things get ugly if I mix liquors, and we had Fireball in the car on our way here, so I want to have Fireball here. So the waiter says, "No, we don't have Fireball." So now you have Emily saying, "Well, I want to see the ugly side of you." I said, "I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, because that's how you feel about yourself inside. The fact that you're so eager to say that, people who want to see you in a mess up situation, they're jealous of you. That's nothing but jealousy." Emily always lets it seep out of her at every single turn. She cannot hide it. Why would you say that? Why do you want to see a friend of yours, or anybody for that instance? Why do you want to see them when they're down and out and looking ugly? That's weird to me. That woman has such low self-esteem. It's really bothersome to me, because it's like, I've met so many Emilys in the course of my life, and I still keep meeting Emilys, and it's annoying. It's just really weird behavior. Emily does not like women. She does not. She does not. The only reason why her and Gina are friends is because she doesn't feel intimidated or threatened by Gina. Gina is not a threat to her. But women that she considers a threat, she's always weird around them. It's weird. It's just Emily needs some serious help. I don't know why she would say that. She's obsessed with getting people who she deems look good to look all messed up. It's crazy. No, she does. Emily, she's not okay. She's not. That's why she can't win. Exactly. Emily wants to see the worst out of everyone, but will crash out if somebody points out an insecurity about herself. Exactly. We saw her spiral about the blazer and the size 12 pants last season. She needs serious help. Those insecurities keep jumping out. Unpack all that trauma in therapy. You have me screaming. You never win you never win when you play dirty. Exactly. So now we're in Temecula. They're at a wine tasting. And I just thought that this scene was weird. Tamra was being a weirdo. She's blurting out, "Shannon, do you love me again?" Shannon's just over it. She's like, "Tamra, please, like, just be happy I'm here on the trip." They're laughing and joking around. Again, I thought that the Temecula clips were boring to me. Again, this episode was just not hitting on anything. So now we're back in Beverly Hills at Crustacean, and they bring out caviar for the starter. So Emily's not here for caviar. And so Emily starts asking Heather, "What's it like being in LA full time? What's the difference?" Heather says, "Being in LA full time is fun. It's weird. It's cool. I'm taking classes at the Groundlings. One of the women there wrote a musical and asked me to be in it." So we see a clip of Heather in the musical. And did anybody catch how Emily's face looked so hateful when Heather was talking about the musical that she was in? So Heather goes on to say that she's been taking vocal lessons again, acting classes, and she's loving it. Again, every time Heather talks about her acting, the women always act so weird, especially Emily and Tamra. So now back in Temecula, we have Shannon mention that Heather is taking improv classes. So Tamra's like, "Wait, Heather wants to do comedy? Really?" So now they're all like, "I never knew her to be a comedian. Maybe her husband, Terry, he's funny, but not Heather." I said, "Now, Shannon, why did you just bring that up randomly about Heather in the acting classes? Like, it's weird. Like, they just always find a way to dog Heather out about her acting. Like, it's really interesting." So now we're back in Beverly Hills, and we have Emily being messy. So Emily says, I just want to tell you the other day, Jenn asked me if I thought that you pacified Tamra because you're afraid of her. Now, Heather, while you've been on the outs with me this season, you ate this one little thing. Without missing a beat, Heather didn't even look up from her food. She was like, okay, so what was your response? I was just like, oh, Emily was so gagged. I said, Emily, that's what you get. That's what you get. What did you say, girl? Always running your damn mouth all the time, starting up mess for no reason. And the way Emily was so gagged by that, she sat up there and said, well, I don't remember what I said, but I might have said that you did. So first of all, we see the flashbacks, and the whole time, Jenn didn't even say a word about Heather being afraid of Tamra. It was Emily saying that. Emily's saying, oh yeah, she pacifies Tamra because she can't deal with Tamra's aggressiveness. It was you running your mouth, not Jenn. So you threw Jenn under the bus for what? Emily, you in this mouth are really going to be the end of you, because you just talk so much. You can't remember what you say, and you sit up there and you lie. You're talking about somebody else lying. You also lie because you lied on Jenn. Jenn didn't even say anything. It was you who said it about Heather. A mess. Oh, Emily was so gagged. Emily was so gagged at that table because Heather said, well, what did you say? What did you say? Always be careful of someone who can't remember what they said. Exactly. I was waiting for somebody to give it to Emily. She had Emily stuttering. She did. She did. So now Heather says, first of all, Jenn's statement is BS because after New Orleans, I told Tamra how I felt, and the rest of y'all didn't say anything. The rest of y'all folded. So who's scared of who? I said, Heather, I'll give you 2 points for that because that is true. You were the only one in the group who did tell Tamra that she had you effed up. So now we're back in Temecula, and they're exploring the vineyard. Shannon falling as they were walking. I just said, Shannon, it's always something with Shannon. Like, I don't know. I've grown tired of this whole Lucy and Ethel act, or, like, it's annoying. Like, it's very aggravating. This whole like goofy act. Now all of a sudden you're tripping and falling. You can't just walk. It's always something with Tamra, with Shannon. It's giving very much Kathy Hilton, like you guys said. So now they're talking about each other, right? So Shannon and Jenn are talking about Tamra. Shannon says, I'll never forget what happened last year. For her to keep asking me if I like her now, I just don't know how to react. So now we see Gina and Tamra off to the side. They're talking about Shannon and Jenn. Gina says, by the way, Jenn is still upset with you about showing that fatty picture of her. Tamra is trying to play dumb and says, it wasn't an ugly picture. So Gina says, well, that's how it was presented. Now, Tamra, you know good and well how shady women can be. You know that you were not showing that picture in good faith. It was a way to make fun of her. Like, look at what she used to look like. She looked a mess. You were doing all that. Like, let's not sit up here and lie and say, oh, well, no, it wasn't a bad picture. It wasn't a great picture. So, like, let's not. You were being shady. Just own it. Let's stop with the BS. Tamra says, Gina says, well, that's how Heather presented it to me. So Tamra says, well, it's unfortunate that Heather made it seem like that. I always get blamed for everything. You get blamed for everything because you're always in the middle of all the mess. That's why. It's wild that Tamra's trying to rewrite history and play the victim. It is wild to me. So now we do close out the episode with they're having dinner in Temecula. They're at the restaurant. The food does look good. So Tamra says, well, Gina was telling me earlier at the vineyard that Jenn, you're still mad at me about the fatty picture. So Tamra says, well, I never said that it was a fatty picture. So Jenn's like, girl, what was your intention of showing that picture? Let's talk about that. Tamra says, well, I was talking about the changes. You used to be super shy and timid and insecure, and then you changed completely. Again, that's jealousy, because why are you pressed about somebody changing for the better? Why are you pressed? Like it's like you obviously wanted you like Jenn when she wasn't a threat. Now that she's a threat to you in your mind, now you don't like how she's changed. Tamra, these women tell on themselves. So Jenn says that when she was married, she was lonely in her marriage. It was a bad marriage. Food made her happy. You have Tamara saying, well, her boobs are always out now. She's always in skin tight clothing, and Ryan likes tits on a stick, and that's what she is. Again, why do you care so much? Jenn's like, look, girl, when did things shift with you? When did it become a problem in our friendship? So Tamara says, when we were in Cabo a few years ago, when Ryan said, I'm in love with Jenn, and I said, well, she's married. And then he says to me and Eddie, well, one day she will leave her husband for me. So then, me and Eddie felt like assholes because prior to that, 2 months ago, Will was at our house and me and Eddie felt dirty. I loved how Shannon said, now, Tamara, did you look in the mirror? You had an affair with Eddie while you were still married to Simon. Let's not forget that. I said, clock it. Because I don't know why Tamara's playing goody two shoes. Like she wasn't also zipping it and zooing it while she was still married to her ex-husband. But I digress. So Jenn's like, listen, let me just see the picture. What is this picture of me that you've been showing around? So Tamara shows her the picture and she's like, was I being shady? Yes. So Jenn says, this picture is disgusting. So Tamara's like, well, it's not the best picture of me either. Tamara, just say I was being shady. I posted a bad picture of you. I'm sorry. All this, well, it wasn't a good picture of me either. Stop. You know what you were doing. Jenn's like, girl, you show this picture because you're the one with low self-esteem. You want to feel better about yourself. And I do agree with that. That's definitely what it was. So Tamara does apologize and says, it was a shitty thing for me to do. I'm sorry. So Jenn says, I hear you. For the first time in my 47 years, I feel like myself. I feel good about myself. And you don't like this version of me. Tamara says, that's not true. I love that you have an opinion and a voice. No, you don't, Tamara. You hate it. And you also hate that she looks good. You also hate the fact that she's giving you a run for your money in your mind. That's how you feel. Tamara talks about, you kept poking at me and that's why I was so pissed at you. What did Jenn do to you? Tamara, what did Jenn do to you? Let me find out. What did Jenn do to you? She didn't do anything to you, if I remember. So now we have Tamara saying that when she apologizes, nobody ever accepts it. They just keep picking at her. Then she's like, Jenn, what do you want from me? Blood? So now Shannon interjects and says, you know what your issue is, Tamara? You don't want to take accountability for what you do. You go so low when you're mad at people, and we all have to say that it's okay. But none of us go that low, only you. Tamara says, well, Shannon, you do it behind everybody else's backs. Shannon says, you and I have been like this up and down throughout the 10 years that we've been friends. So Tamara says, girl, I've been there for you. I was there for you during your divorce. So Shannon says, well, yeah, but you did say that I sucked the life out of you. And Tamara says, yeah, but you did. So now Shannon says, if I'm being honest, Tamara, you have not been in my life for a whole year and I never felt better. Now, Shannon, I feel like you still want to be friends with Tamara. Like, I don't know if I'm buying that you're never going to talk to her again. I don't know. Something tells me that you will forgive Tamara and you guys will be back like this. Something in my soul is telling me that. So I don't know if I trust all this, this big act at the table. So Tamara says, well, that's good to hear. I'm happy for you then, if that's how you feel. So now Shannon says, you don't know how hard my life was last year. There wasn't one time where you did not come after me. You called me a drunk. You called me the C word. I thought we were so close. So now you have Tamara playing the victim. Tamara says, I was so hurt. Tamara, how are you hurt? You sat up there and betrayed and turned on your friend for no reason. You sat up there and you kicked Shannon while she was down. You befriended the ops. Yes, no one accepts your apologies because you turn around and do the same thing. Exactly. All the time. Tamara says, I don't want to go backwards, but you would drink and say things about people. Even Gina said that she's concerned about your drinking now. Now you see how Tamara does? That's why these girls are so stupid, to think that Tamara is a safe space, and she's not. The fact that Tamara is so quick to now throw Gina under the bus. So you have Gina saying, well, I do worry about you, and that's where the episode ends. Now, y'all, I don't have much to say. Um, I just don't. I'm so disappointed in this season. I mean, I cannot believe that this is what it's come to, where we are getting such a piss poor season. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. Tamra sitting up here playing the victim. I don't know how she can. Shannon's not doing it for me this season. I'm over her and her antics. Tamra's still playing villain and the victim. Emily with her nonsense. I'm just, y'all, I'm over it. I think I want to hear from y'all, quickly in the comments. Do you think that there's a way to revamp OC for season 20? I think that some cast changes might need to be made, because if they keep going like this, then they don't have a show, and the ratings keep dipping lower and lower. So OC has no choice but to get it together. OC needs a reboot. I have to be honest, but I'm getting Housewives fatigue. Now, let me tell y'all, this season is a complete chop. Reboot the show. Gina and Emily need to go. I agree. Even trained actors take a break. I'm so ready for SLC. It'll be a palate cleanser. Okay, now wait, hold on. Before I close out, I went to the SLC premiere party last week, right? This premiere episode, if there is one franchise that still has the magic, it is Salt Lake City. I cannot wait for us to talk about a specific person I'm really excited to talk about this premiere with y'all. Baby, this premiere episode, it's a supersized episode too. It's an hour, 15 minutes. This premiere episode, they came out the gate swinging. I mean, this was it's a phenomenal first episode. Phenomenal premiere episode. Phenomenal. I'm so excited to talk to y'all about this. I'm not going to ruin anything, but I cannot wait to talk to you about a certain person. I just cannot wait. Like, I'm just so good. The girls are back. All right. Yeah. SLC is incredible. They really are. It was a fantastic first premiere episode. So I'm excited. I wouldn't say if it were mid, I would say, okay, it was cute. It was okay. It was giving, but no, this was one of the strongest premiere episodes that we've had across the board in a long time. I mean, SLC right now, they're on a winning streak. Last season was phenomenal, except for the reunion. Season 4 was awesome. But yeah, the women, they're right now, it's a three-peat. Like, it's looking like season 6 is about to be all 10s. Like, season 6 is about to be all 10s across. If I have to guess, is giving that this season is about to be all 10s. We're not going to get a chop episode for, I think that they are right now, they're on a hot streak where, like, Atlanta seasons 1 through 6, 1 through 7, that was like it for them. Potomac, their golden era was seasons 3 and 4. Right now it's looking like Salt Lake City seasons 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like phenomenal. Yes, SLC needs to work on the reunions. Yes, I agree. Yep, it airs tomorrow night. But yeah, they did a great job. This was chef's kiss. I said they don't need to manufacture anything, because their drama is real. The storylines are real. That's what helped. I mean, phenomenal. I said, girl, I'm here for. I said, SLC, I'm seated. They ate, left no crumbs. I said, this premiere episode, and it's a 75-minute episode. I said, yes. I said, y'all have my full attention. I am seated. So, hey, Ivans Lyra, thank you for the super chat. Brooke, I was so proud of your special Bravo post. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Brooke, will you do a live for SLC? I don't know. I might just do a regular pre-recorded one, because I have so many thoughts. Like, I just need like full concentration. I mean, maybe I'll see. I'll see. If I don't, I might do some lives for SLC, but I might need my full attention just to just talk and let it all out, because I have so many thoughts on a certain person, And I'm just like, girl. So yes, honey, it is a good episode indeed, honey. Okay. Ciao. Let me just make sure that I did not forget any. Okay, no, I got everybody's super chat. Now, guys, I'm screaming. Do what makes you comfortable. You say you can bet the person. I'm screaming. I am screaming. Listen, y'all, I cannot say a thing. We'll have to talk about that after the episode, but I'm gonna leave it right here. I want to do a Miami live later on today, so I need to get my voice ready for Miami. Okay, but y'all, I am going to end the chat right here. I love y'all. I hope you guys had a great time with me. I will see you for Miami in a few hours. Okay, but I will see y'all very soon, and we will talk then. All right, but guys, I hope you have fun. I have fun, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys. And thank you to all my moderators. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. I'll see you for Miami.